I'm no expert by any means, but my son really needed a shirt for his USA Day at school, and I didn't have one for him, and I didn't really want to buy one for him, but I did have this American Fighter shirt that my neighbor gave me, so I'm going to show you how I turned it into a kid's shirt. I'm definitely a beginner here, so I just kind of do what works, and hopefully it will work for you if you find yourself in the same situation. But I just overlaid his t-shirt on the top and cut off all of the extra material that you can see here. And then I'm just going to run like a simple stitch all the way around the shirt. Like I said, sewing is not my thing. It's definitely not a talent that was passed down to me by my mother. I think it all went straight to my sister, who makes beautiful, beautiful quilts and all the things. But when I'm in a pinch, I will do what is necessary to survive. So here I'm just cutting off the side, and I'm just going to go ahead and cut off the sleeves too, because I'm going to cut them down smaller anyways, so it won't matter if they're completely cut off. So the sides are going to be all the way open, but for the most part, the neckline and the shoulders are going to be untouched. All right, had to take a quick break to tie a bib onto my daughter's baby doll, because being a full-time stay-at-home mom, you just never have 2 seconds alone, and that's fine. So now that I've cut one side of the shirt, I'm just going to fold it over and make it symmetrical by cutting off the same amount of fabric on the left side as you see on the right side. And sorry that I don't have like a fancy tripod or circle light or anything like that. This is the first video that I've ever made, and I don't have any of that stuff. So I literally have like an end table sitting on top of my table with the phone like facing down so that I could get even this good of a video. So if you guys have any tips on how to shoot great videos, just let me know, because I'm open to suggestions. So here is the body of the shirt. Remember, I cut off like 5 or 6 inches from the bottom, and then all of the sides are open right now. So now I'm just going to go ahead and do the sleeves, and I do want them to be the same size as my son's shirt sleeves, because his arms are significantly smaller than an adult. This American Fighter t-shirt was an adult large, and my son is 7. So I just overlaid it on top of it, and then I'll fold back to see where their seam is. And I just kind of peek under every now and again to see where the seam is, and then I'm following along in the seam. And bonus points if you accidentally nick your son's shirt in the armpit and there's a tiny hole there now. Then you'll be just like me. I also really want to add music to this video, and I was thinking America by Neil Diamond, because it's like my favorite 4th of July shirt, and I felt like it was so appropriate for USA Day. I don't know why there is that little tab of fabric left over. I don't know if I did something wrong or if it just like popped out after I cut it or whatever, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut that off. And then I'm just going to do the exact same thing with the other side. Without using the t-shirt, I'll just lay this one on top, and then I'll be sure that they're exactly the same. Not that it super duper matters, because like I said, I was just trying to look for something that would do for the day, and this is what I could come up with. We were just going to send these shirts to the DI because they're not really my husband's style, but my neighbor had given them to us, and my son adores our neighbor, so he was way more than excited to be wearing one of his shirts that could actually fit him. So with everything that you see, I'm just going to go ahead and run a single stitch on a sewing machine, and I just kind of magically do that here so you don't have to watch, but that's how I cut it out. And then I did run like a double seam on the bottom, like I stitched it twice, just so that it looked more like a t-shirt. I don't actually know what that does, because like I said, I'm not really a sewer, but here we have the finished sleeve, and it did get part of the image cut off, but again, I'm okay with it. He's okay with it. So I also had like one stitch run where my bobbin was like tied in a knot or something, and so it just ran this like wonky stitch line at the bottom. So I had to pick all of that out, but it's fine. We're all fine, and we love America. All right, and if you wanted to know how I stitched it, I just got the middle part of the top of the sleeve first and attached it to the top seam of the t-shirt, like where your shoulder would be. And then I stitched down the front side of it first, so just half of the sleeve was on, and then I went back and I stitched down the back side. That way I didn't get any weird like wrinkles or anything. And then once I got there, I stopped and went down to the bottom of the shirt and matched up the ends. And then I stitched from the bottom and met up with those seams right in the armpit. So that's how I closed that side, and then I just did the exact same thing on the other side. I started with the center of the sleeve, worked my way down, and then I just did a hem at the bottom.